Hi, Rodney.
Hello, hello.
The Jira Guy.
That I am.
Everyone knows you. Tell me a little bit about your blog and how it all came, how you came to Atlassian, and how you got your fame.
I'll start with how I became to Atlassian. I actually started out as a Linux admin. I was taking over a job from someone who's been away from the company for a little bit, so job had been vacant for a little while. I was going to this role, my first job as an admin, and they're like, these are your VM systems, this is your backup system.
Did you know Linux already? Or?
I did know Linux, and that's how I got the job, is I did know Linux, and I also knew how to run Java apps. But they're like, oh, by the way, this is also Jira and Confluence. You need to figure those out because you're getting the tickets for those tomorrow. So that I did. I dug into the documentation. I learned things.
When was that?
This was 2014.
So long. It was server back then, right?
Yeah, it was exclusively server, but just dug into documentation, handled things one problem at a time, one Google search, how do I do this? And just slowly learned the system from there. As far as how I became the Jira Guy, well, it came in two phases. First is when I registered the domain. My manager had given me a quarterly goal of starting a blog because she saw the documentation I was making on Confluence. She's like, you're a really good writer. You should work on this and maybe start a blog. So she made that one of my quarterly goals. So I'm sitting there trying to register a domain for this blog, and I'm like, what do I call it? All of a sudden, the VP comes by introducing someone new, and he's like, by the way, this is our Jira Guy. I'm like, okay, that's good. So I look up Jira Guy, and JiraGuy.com is taken. But the registrar I was looking at was like, but the Jira Guy is available. I'm like, God, that sounds a little pretentious. That sounds really stuck up, but I don't have any better options, and I'll just run with it. It's not like anyone's ever going to. Yeah, it's like no one's ever going to see this blog anyway, so what does it matter, right? So fast forward about 6 months from there, and I was laid off. The company was having some hard times, they problem getting clients, and well, you got to make cuts somewhere. Don't blame the company at all. Fantastic group of people I was working with, but I was still in a situation where I was getting interview after interview, and I thought they'd go well, but I'd just not get the job. And finally, there was one day where I'd been in a couple of interviews, I had great feelings about them. I get one call after another, almost immediately, both of them saying, I'm sorry, we're passing over for someone local. And I'm like, you know what, I'm done today. I go out, I take a walk, I'm angry. Because I know Jira, I know Jira. How do I prove I know Jira to these people? I'm thinking through the story, I'm like, I need a portfolio, I need something. I have that blog that I haven't touched in 3 months. Maybe I should start posting some of my experiences on there, so I can show managers, hey, this is what I know. So I did that, and the part I didn't expect was all the comments I got in within a week or two saying, oh my God, this helped me out. I was in this trouble. This is the exact guide I needed. Please do more of these. I'm like, well, people are getting some use out of it.
And how do you find topics that hit that niche where there's actually value for people reading that?
Originally, it was just, what was I interested in writing about? Because I was a practicing Jira admin. So it's like, what are my struggles? Ooh, I just learned about this new trick, let me write about that. Nowadays, honestly, most of the high impact articles I write come from readers, people who are reading blog like, hey, I have this problem, can you help me out? And it's either something I know about or something I know someone who knows about, I could ask them about and then write about. So that's really where I've been getting a lot of my ideas lately. It's very much a fan-driven endeavor because it's a give and take there. They let me know what they're having issues with. I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's write about that.
Okay, and you're still doing that?
Yes, yeah.
And are you doing and how do you earn money with that, or is it a side project?
It still very much is a side project. It is revenue generating, but it's not really break even.
And how? With ads or?
Combination of ads and sponsored content.
Yeah, okay.
But as I said, it depends really on the time. It's still very much a hobby to me. It is something I do because I enjoy doing it. And I don't really want to get to the point where I resent doing it by making it a job full time. to a point. There are days where I really fantasize, like, do I really want to deal with this customer, or do I just want to write an article today?
So it's more the other way around.
Yeah, I do have a day job. I work as a consultant for a release team, but they're very good about giving me leeway where if I need to record a podcast or write something up, as long as I'm not busy doing something, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Atlassian Team Conference here in Las Vegas. You're all over it. So if you're reporting it, you're live streaming, and so can you summarize for people watching this video what happened, what's new, what got you excited, what do you think is crap or it doesn't work?
Well, the big thing that has me excited right now, especially the niche I find myself in, is Atlassian University. All courses are now free. That is amazing. Honestly, I don't know why they were gatekeeping the information anyways, because you need people to know how to do this.
Yeah.
So I love that they made Atlassian University free. That is the top announcement for me. The next
I like that. It's the first time I hear that, and I fully understand where you're going to. So cool point.
The second thing is combining Jira software and Jira work management into just Jira. That is an amazing thing right there. I always felt it was a little bit of a mistake when, back in our server days, we upgraded to Jira 7, and all of a sudden we have, right there in a Jira Agile add-on and a Service Desk management add-on, we now have just Jira software or Jira Service Desk. And yeah, you combine the two into the same Jira, but you're asking for some headaches if you do that. And I always felt that was a little bit of a mistake from a branding perspective, because people don't see, the users don't see service management or software, they see Jira. So having this distinction never really sat well with me, but you know.
Do you think they managed Jira Service Management and Jira software into one, or is it rather that they disabandoned Jira Work Management?
I think they more combined it. There's not a lot of difference underneath the hood between the two. It's just what project type are you running. So if you have both a software and a work management license on the same site anyways, you don't see anything different now. You're just not paying the extra cost. So I think they did a really good job of it. I do hope they go further. I do think Jira Product Discovery is a good candidate for this merge as well. But I do applaud them taking this step and simplifying things and simplifying conversations.
Okay. What else?
Service management, speaking of which. Instant Service Desk. They had a competition on the floor here yesterday where the previous version of service management about how long it takes to set up a service management portal.
Oh, we've all been there, right?
Yeah. It's a slog. And the fact that they have a competition to see how fast someone could do it, because it's going to take a while, says a lot. And I'm glad Atlassian is addressing this by giving us a way to instantly generate a reasonable, useful service desk portal.
I also think like the amount of time it takes to do something is less important than the complexity. Like, if you don't know where you're going to get in the end, it's much more difficult to do something than if you know I'm going to get there, but it's a marathon. So okay, maybe I've run the marathon before, so I'm going to do it again, and there's no complexity. I'm just going to keep on running. But my feel is, at least, and I'm probably not as regular as you do, when I'm starting configuring this, I know I will have to go back to the documentation to figure out some stuff, and that's adding a lot of complexity, where I also thought that's a good idea. Just give me a boilerplate so everything is set like most people would put it, and then I can still tweak it if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you think AI bots will be able to do that properly, or are we far away from that? That's how they do it, right?
That's how they do it. That is.
At least they said so.
I think. Now, let me get to the points correct. Every team is unique. I do want to make that clear, but I don't think they're as unique as they think they are. I think the basics for a legal team will always be the same across every legal team. There will be points that are unique for their team, and I want to be clear about that, but the underpinnings are still the same for every legal team across every organization. Same with HR. They'll vary country to country, of course, and of course each one's going to have their uniqueness to them, but under the hood, they're all still HR teams.
Yeah.
So I think the basics, as long as it's still there, the point I made to Atlassian when I was talking to them about work management was being developed is like, as a Jira admin, give me 80-90% of there. I could take care of that last 10 to 20%.
Yeah. You didn't say anything about Rovo or unified search. Does it matter for you, or?
So, my biggest issue with search and Confluence, and let's start with that, has always been it's been too noisy. You search for a random word, you get every instance of that word ever. It's too much noise. So, did Confluence Search need to be fixed? Absolutely. The ticket for that, I looked it up this morning, was 15 years old to fix Confluence Search. 15 years it's been broken. So, did that need to be fixed? Yes. My concern with the unified search is, okay, we fixed it, we made sure there wasn't as much noise, and you find, based on context, what you want. But here's all the noise from every other Jira instance and Google document and Slack message. I'm worried they took the noise out just to add it back in.
Yeah, okay, I fully get that. And it's a difficult task to do, and it's getting even more difficult the more stuff you have.
And to be clear, I haven't seen the unified search in person. I don't think anyone outside Atlassian has, so maybe this is a solved problem. Maybe the semantic index that they talked about yesterday solves this problem. I don't know, but based off what I saw yesterday, I do have concerns, and I would want to test it out as an admin before I give it to my users.
Yeah, fully understand. How about the Rovo agents, Atlassian Guard?
I am interested in them. I said I'm not convinced AI is there for most of the tasks we try and give it, but these micro-targeted tasks, I think the kind of AI we have today, these specific AIs, that's what they're built for. So I am, again, it's not the one of those with AI, I want to see it before I believe it. Mm-hmm. And I have, as I said, no one outside of Atlassian has really touched this yet. So I don't want to judge it too harshly yet, but I want to believe. Yeah, okay. I want to believe in this one.
But you don't do it yet and you want to see it, okay?
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. How about Atlassian Guard? Isn't that something that the world and the customers have waited for years as well?
I think Atlassian Guard just makes sense. Beacon, what are you looking for? You're looking for suspicious logins. You're looking for unusual activity. Access, what are you looking for? How do people log in? How do people access? I'm surprised no one asked before, why aren't these the same product? So I like the move of combining them. I think it's a great step. I am concerned about what does this do to the cost of it, because Atlassian Access already was an extra cost on top of your Atlassian bill.
Kind of like a mandatory one, right?
Yeah, and you almost had to have it. I mean, not almost, you had to have it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do SSO, which most organizations require now, you have to have it. So I'm a little worried about what this will do to cost with all the extra features, but the move itself, I think, makes sense.
Okay, is there anything, like someone listening to that point of the video, what's your call to action? What can they do? How can they reach you?
Well, you can find my blog at thejiralife.com. You can also find it on LinkedIn. Just search The Jira Guy. You can also follow the podcast I co-host with Alex Ortiz, which I understand you're going to be talking to soon too. That's on YouTube at The Jira Life, but also on LinkedIn at The Jira Life.
And it shows you didn't choose it?
Yeah, our tagline for The Jira Life is, we didn't choose The Jira Life chose us.
And is there a backstory to back it up, or?
Well, both me and Alex are accidental Jira admins. We both applied to do something else, and it's like, by the way, you're now the Jira admin.
So you're the Linux admin, and then the Jira Life chose you to...
Yeah, to become a Jira admin.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we hear so many stories like that. A lot of Jira admins, this wasn't their first career choice, but now that they're in it, they wouldn't choose any other life.
So since 2014, you say?
Yes.
So happy 10-year
Yes,
anniversary.
yes.
Yeah.
January this year was 10 years as a Jira admin.
So we all congratulate Rodney for his journey. Thanks.
Thank you.
What television mean?